So this video will cover front kick, front thrusting kick, as requested by Mary. Front kick is one of the simpler seeming kicks. The movement itself is fairly simple, but there's a lot of small elements that need to be combined well to make an effective kick. It doesn't feel as strong as it is. Front kick's actually quite useful in a fight situation. It's relatively easy to control, so very good, useful kick. Now, there are different types of kicks. So even within Taekwondo, different people will deliver the kick differently. My own instructor delivered the kick quite differently to the way I'm about to recommend. And part of the reason is that the specific application of the kick will vary with the scenario in which it's deployed. So the primary consideration really is whether you're going to try to reach a long way with the kick and chase a retreating opponent, whether you're trying to kick upwards to hit some point that's so inclined towards you, or whether you're trying to hit into a more vertical surface. Now, if the surface that you're trying to hit is more vertical to begin with, rather than, say, the bottom of the chin, which is more horizontal, then the kick will need to be more perpendicular to that to make efficient contact. So you need a more stabbing action with the kick. If you're trying to reach forward and kick upwards, then you can afford to swing the kick through more like this and swing the leg upwards, more like kicking a football. But most of the time for martial arts, I believe that it's more useful to thrust the leg forward in a more linear fashion. So it's harder to block, and it gives you a lot more control. And it tends to strike efficiently perpendicular to the targets that you're likely to deploy the kick to. So in order to kick in this fashion, what you need to do is to lift the knee up towards your chest, like so, and then the line from your hip to your knee should be above the line from your hip to your target. So you're actually looking to push the leg downwards. Imagine something like this and thrust out with the ball of the foot. And what you see happening there is, if you imagine me kicking straight down towards the floor, the foot comes down with the heel like so. It's sort of the heel's leading. The ball of the foot is tucked up towards the shin. But as you approach the target, the leg straightens like so. The ball of the foot thrusts out into the target. The calf muscle is used at the end of the kick to drive the ball of the foot into the target. When you're doing that into the air, it will look something like this. You come up, lift the leg out, and thrust out with the ball of the foot at the end. Now this isn't necessary, it's not a big part of the mechanics of the kick. But for most people, it's beneficial. It tends to give a smaller surface area of contact, which tends to mean more concentrated contact, more damage in a localised area, makes the kick more effective. But you can kick with the whole flat of the foot or sort of dig in a little bit with the heel. So it's possible to kick something like so with the heel extending out. But it takes more flexibility in the calf muscle and hamstring. So if you're not particularly flexible there, it's more likely to be uncomfortable or even tear a muscle if you're in a fight situation you haven't warmed up. So here, generally, just lift the foot up like so, drive out with the ball of the foot, bring it back. You don't want to throw your body weight past your supporting foot so that you're forced to step down in front of your original position. The reason you don't want that is because if you step down in front and somebody's managed to block or dodge the kick, they'll know that gravity is going to pull you down at a particular point in time. They can sweep that leg out, something like this, as you're trying to land, knock the leg flying and you're going to fall flat on your back, or they can smash a shin or something into your knee as you land, break that leg. So here, you don't want to be predictable like that. If they know where your leg's going to be at a certain point in time, and it's an easy target because you've got no way of getting down to defend it very quickly as you're landing, and especially the ankle. So you've got no other tool that you can get forward. The other leg's too far to come and try and get in the way of some attack that's attacking that leg. So you can't afford to be predictable when you're stepping forward and fall down at a predictable moment. You have to keep your body weight in reserve a little bit. If the target's too far away to kick comfortably, and say kicking like this won't reach him, then don't kick yet. Wait, work your way in a little bit closer until you're able to reach the target. Alternatively, choose a kick that's got a longer range, but don't force the front kick into a scenario that it's not suitable for. So from this situation, if the target's too far away, maybe you deliver a side kick or something like that instead that has quite a bit of extra reach. So, other things with front kick. Your supporting leg points towards your target. So this is quite important for a variety of reasons. The heel should stay flat on the ground and the knee should be bent at the time that you deliver the kick, right throughout the whole movement actually. By keeping the supporting leg bent and facing towards the target, it's able to stabilise you as your basic line of attack and the reaction forces from striking the target are in this line from front to back. Having this knee able to flex in that direction can add strength behind the kick and help absorb and add some rigidity in resistance to the reaction forces from the target, which lets everything build up to do more damage into the target. Keeping this leg bent also gives you the ability to move. So a bent leg can be used to jump off, and it can also pull with the hamstring to move you forwards, or push out with the quadricep to drive you backwards. So having the back leg bent at the time that you kick means if somebody goes to attack you, then you can move yourself back a little bit more easily, or if you need to step down forwards, you can start to add a little bit of force to do that with that leg. Whereas if you're, say, turning the leg out to the side, something like this, then you can step sideways okay, but you can't really move forwards after you've delivered the technique. Another important consideration is if you keep the hips square and the upper body square behind the kick like this, then when you step down, you're able to attack in all the possible directions that the person may have dodged to. And, importantly, the opposite side of the body, so I've kicked with my right leg, my left arm still has enough room to move over and cover quite a good angle of attack to help in my own defence. If I've turned the body very side on, something like this, and then I step down and somebody's attacking from here, I can't really reach to defend myself with that arm. So I'm left with one arm against potentially two arms. And a clever opponent will use one arm to attack and force this hand to move in such a way that leaves an opening for the other hand to hit. So I'm giving them blindside advantage. And anything that's sort of behind the line of your own shoulders, once you get into that position where your opponent's behind you like that, you're in big trouble. So instead, try to move in a way that means as you step down, you're able to use your hands again defensively if necessary. And that's about all I can think to say to introduce the front kick, so I hope some of that's helpful.